Welcome to From Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. I'm your host, a holistic healing coach, divorce recovery coach, and a passionate advocate for personal growth and your guide on the journey to healing. This podcast is for those who are struggling with the feelings of loneliness, disconnection, feeling stuck, and who are ready to discover their inner potential and live a life overflowing with love and connection. Inside, we are going to explore the path from pain to transformation, bridging the gap between loneliness and abundance through heartfelt conversations, spirituality, energy work, and self-awareness. So let's get started on this soulful journey together. Welcome to another episode from Loneliness to Overflow with Matina. Today's guest is such a beautiful love bubble. And I haven't even said that to her, but I really, every time I see her post, every time I speak with her, it's all love. It's all that richness of relationships that we all long for. So without delay, welcome, Julia.
Hi, Matina. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here on your podcast today.
I am so excited as well. Please introduce yourself for those who don't know your magic yet.
Amazing. So I'm Julia. I live in Austria, but I'm really connected worldwide, and I help women all over the world tune into their real, raw, authentic energy, and from that place attract their soulmate. That's what I do. And it's one of the best things, I think, one of the best purposes in life to do.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Where we are all seeking a connection, a true connection, a fire, if you will, inside of us. It's like, yes, this is the one. You are beautifully doing work to bring that one into people's life. Now, what I am curious about hearing, and I'm sure we will have some segue to it, is what led you to it. So before we really step into what led you to it, what was your loneliness or disconnection moment, Julia, that actually allowed you to do the work that you're doing today?
And I can feel the energy already building up. So actually what comes up is something that happened 19 years ago. I was a teenager. I was 15. I was traveling the USA. I was an exchange student. And one day I got a call that my dad had died out of the blue. And that, when I think back and when I feel back, that's the moment where something flipped in me. And I just disconnected from everything because the pain, the trauma, the shock, it came out of nowhere. Yeah, I just couldn't feel it. So I just disconnected. And it took me a very long time to bring back that connection. And looking back, I see that that was the turning point also in my work now and my whole path.
Right. Grief is never easy. Grief has its own stages, and it comes with accepting, but then also missing, and it comes with accepting, and then also the anger around, like, why did this happen this way, and how come this was meant to happen this way? And we have a lot of questions in that, right? How did you, even though it took you years, how did you get yourself out of that?
I think I realized that I was doing two things on the outside, but I want to say that was kind of the shallow thing for me to do. I was very needy of connection and of, love and attention. And I had a lot of relationships and one night stands and everything because I felt so empty and I always wanted someone to just hold me. And while I knew that that was kind of connected to losing my dad so early, on the inside, that was the switch. It took me so long to actually allow someone to hold me, because there's such a difference between I'm having sex here on a one night stand and I'm doing all these things to get a guy and to not be alone. But then it's very different to actually allowing them to see you and holding you from that depth. Mm-hmm. And when I understood that, that's when things started shifting. and when I was able to release the grief as well.
What you just shared is not only very painful in the moment, but it's also liberation. Liberation of your own emotions, liberation of letting someone in, liberation of feeling worthy of allowing someone in without the fear of losing it again.
Yeah. Because that's that, that's that one thing that we want this connection, this love to be held, this special bond so much. And at the same time, the one thing that I see again and again with what was with me and with my clients holding back is that fear of losing it again.
Yeah.
And when we cannot hold that fear of losing again, we'll never be able to, and this is my opinion, we'll not be able to hold and attract someone with that deep connection, because the fear of losing it will make us attract shallow connections, or will make us, not even open up for that.
Exactly. So in that moment, though, when you recognize, oh, wow, I'm really allowing someone in to truly hold me, truly see me to the most vulnerable spot of my own beingness, something that maybe you didn't even allow yourself to see fully. How was that experience for you?
It was, well, I would love to say it was very beautiful, but it wasn't. It was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. And that's something that I think is important we talk about, because opening up and being raw and being vulnerable and showing yourself, it's like we have these Hollywood pictures of, oh my God, and then, the sunrise and the doves fly away. But a lot of times it's actually showing yourself so messy and in your pain and in that feeling of I'm so broken, but just like surrendering that it's okay, that someone will see it, and not being worried that it's gonna be judged. And for me, that was the shift, because I was always so concerned how other people would see me and how they would perceive me and what they think of me, much more than what I actually think of myself.
So how were you received in that moment where you were being that messy person, where you were sharing yourself raw, where you were going through all of the emotions without exactly understanding why you are feeling that way?
It took me, it took me a long time to get there, and it was with my now husband. And like the moment I got over that uncomfortableness, it was actually just like freedom, like you're liberated. Like that moment when you understand, oh my God, like why the fuck did I just spend 10 years holding back on something that I could have experienced. But I wasn't ready to go over that step before. And so I'm glad I did at some point.
And there's this beautiful saying, like, there is no time as today. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is never promised. Today is the day we have, where it's not about how long it took you. It's about celebrating that you got to the other side. Celebrating that you did open yourself up and became vulnerable. And the beauty part here, and kudos to your husband, is that you were received with enough openness that it didn't shut you down. But sadly, it is the reality for some people where they actually have the courage to open themselves up and then the other person runs away.
Yes. And that was something where, in retrospect, I'm so glad that I waited, that it took me that long, because I met my husband when I was 30. And so that was 15 years from my dad's death to that moment. And I had relationships. I had a lot of flings and a lot of situationships and whatever before. And I was always craving that connection. I always wanted that. But also I think I knew unconsciously, or I want to say intuitively, that those people probably weren't right at that time for me to totally open up. And, on the one hand, it took me so long, but then on the other hand, it was divinely timed. As we always say, it's like it always has a reason, but we normally don't see or understand it until we look back, until hindsight. And so I see that waiting that long and for me to finding that safe counterpart, yeah, it was just divinely orchestrated that way.
I love that. What I'm hearing, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Julia, but what I'm hearing is what held you back was the fear of openness, maybe the fear of losing someone else again, maybe the fear of so many different things that our silly old brain comes up with and traps us in, if you will. What was your fear, if it was fear for you?
Yeah, it was definitely. So there was a lot of fear. And for me, the number one fear was to be lonely or to be left. Like this, it almost feels like when I tune into it now, it feels like such a deep abandonment wound. And so, of course, guess what kind of guys I attracted? They always either they lived far away or they were just one night stands and didn't call, or one was married, one was just all these things that I always then attracted men who were not really able to hold me. And that fed my fear of this abandonment.
Yeah. It is so human for us to have these fears. And it's also a human experience to be in this loop where we are like, I'm fearing the fear of abandonment in this case. And then because you are in that energy and you are trapped in it almost, you're attracting people who will abandon, who are not committed truly, fully in the way that you are longing for. And as soon as you allowed yourself to go over the fear, that's where you were met with someone who could truly hold you. That's why you were met with someone who could truly see you for who you are at a soul's level and what the purity is of this innocent woman who wants to love, who wants to give, who wants to show up, big and wide with so much love and light that you are now choosing to bring that love and light into women's life and help them untangle with these fears is what I'm truly hearing. But you had to go through it yourself to be able to recognize that that is what it is.
Exactly. And also, and that's a crucial point that I want to say that really made me move through the fear is when I turned 30 and I was single and nothing had really worked. I came to the point where I said, and I think this was really crucial for me, I said, I'm going to give this one more try. I'm going to give it a serious try, but I'm just going to be so okay. And I'm just going to be having such a great life if this is not working out. And this was the first time that I was really clear that if I'm not meeting a man where, it clicks, it's going to be okay. And that was always my worst fear, to be alone. But that moment when I so deeply understood and felt I'm going to be okay anyway, no matter what, I'm always going to have myself. I'm always going to, love myself and be there. And that's the moment when it went so fast. And within 4 weeks, I met my husband. But before that, I completely surrendered. And that is something that is very deep. We talk about this surrendering thing so much. You got to surrender and, have faith. But deeply feeling it, that it's okay, even if your deepest desires are not met, that's when you surrender. And that's when the magic comes in, because then you're not in a needy energy. You're not in a pressure energy, because this is all lack energy. When you surrender, you're in abundance because you're going to be taken care of.
What you're really saying is that subconsciously you were talking to yourself and saying, enough with this fear of abandonment. Even though you didn't word it that way, that is what you really were doing. You were talking to this fear of abandonment to yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to give it one serious try. I'm going to give it my all. And if it doesn't work out, I am okay.
Exactly.
And
for me,
always this fear went away. This fear was dissipated.
I always have that picture of, you have that, you are so afraid of that lion that's gonna roar at you. But in order to lose the fear, you have to walk up to the lion. And then once you do that, it disappears.
Yes. Oh, this is so powerful. So important for us all to hear how the fears that we are holding ourselves in and around and we're entangling ourselves with are not the fears that we're meant to hold on to, that we're meant to live with. We need to break free from them. But it's not even a need. It's a desire. You desire that for yourself.
Because what I wanted was on the other side of that lion. But I was just too scared to walk up to it, to look it in the eye, to like have it eat me alive, which never happened. And that was, that was such a powerful moment, because that's when I realized, I don't even want to say fuck the fears. I want to say I was so thankful for that, because that's the moment I understood every time I'm afraid of something, it's such a stepping stone. Like it's not just something we say, it's actually true, but we have to get like real close up to that line in order to be able to move through.
Yes. I want to take a segue here. I'm very curious to hear the whole experience. Where in your journey did you recognize and did you tap into your own intuition? Because the work that you do right now allowed you to heal enough to welcome your intuition to be the strong, beautiful force that it is, that allows you now to help others.
That's such a good question. And actually, it was like I was so intuitive when I was a kid. I would dig little holes in the earth and talk into those holes with, spirit. I would go into the woods and see little elves, and I always felt like protected and surrounded. My childhood was so magical because I was one with it. And thankfully, my mom really, supported that and didn't shut it down. She just, let me do all the things, and I spent a lot of time in nature. But then when my dad died, it was like, this is all shit. I'm not believing in anything. There is no greater plan. Why is this happening? And that really like threw me out of that. And of course, just, growing up and being like a teenager. But then when it came back, I think it was in my early 20s when I started like really being interested in, like astrology and like energy and all these things. But it took me so long until I understood that I can actually do that myself. Like I have the ability, and I know we all have the ability to tap into our intuition. But for me, it was really a process to rediscover it.
Right.
And once I was aware, it went really fast and it just started opening up. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, did I just say that? Yes, it's just coming through.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so much energy moving and a beautiful presence right now. I'm being compelled to share that your father is so proud of you.
Thank you.
And for you showing up and for you doing exactly what what your magic is, and also helping others remember that they are powerful themselves. Remember that what they are desiring is exactly what they can live. That there is not this checklist that, you can only have this much.
Exactly. It's so, there's such an abundance available to us, and what holds that small is just our concepts of what's possible.
Yes.
And how we're conditioned. But that's why, this work we're all doing here in this or the other way is so important, because it opens people's beliefs and minds up that it is possible. And actually, because as you said, it's their desire, it's meant to be, and they're meant to go there. And even if the path to that desire is challenging and maybe long, in retrospect, it's all going to make so much sense.
Before we dive back in, I have something transformative to share with you. It's called the Alignment Collective. Release, Rebuild, and Rise, my signature group coaching program designed to help you unlock the life you deserve. Every month, we focus on a key area of life, from health to relationships, career, and more. In the first 2 weeks, we energetically release what's holding you back. Then we shift into calling in the abundance and clarity that you desire. And in the final week, we come together for powerful group coaching, sharing our wins, our challenges, and raising the collective energy. Are you ready to release what doesn't serve you, rebuild your foundation, and rise into your potential? Try it for 50% off with discount code GROWTH. Visit matinasingh.com/meditation. The link is also found in the description. I can't wait to support you on this journey. That is where the power lies. Us being fully embodied in where we are in this moment of our life, loving ourselves to the deepest degrees, accepting ourselves to the deepest degrees, to allow that love that wants to come through. As much as we are longing for it, it's longing for us.
I love that. Yes, exactly. That's what it is. These desires are longing for us as much as we long for them. So good.
And that is what you are remembering them to.
Yes. That's, the beautiful thing is that I'm not even doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm never changing someone. I'm never doing the work. It's just this presence and this, I feel almost sometimes it's like this understanding that someone got to do this and made all this, like did all this path and became such a different person that alone, being in that energy is so powerful. It's so powerful. And it's just reminding everyone that we can do it as well. And that's what I feel really compelled to share in my work is we're all powerful. We're all intuitive and we're all love, truly.
When I go back to your story where you made a decision, like enough is enough, I'm going to go all in. And if it doesn't work out, it's fine, I'm okay. So that the fear bubble could completely dissipate so that you can experience life in a newer degree. Was you consciously or subconsciously deciding like enough of this? And sometimes we do need another person to guide us and support us. But what is the power of intuition is not that someone else who has more power than you. It's more like your curiosity as to, okay, there's something here that I'm meant to understand, that I'm meant to know, that I'm meant to open myself up to. And that curiosity is enough to get you in the door while completely being unaware of what's around it and what is behind this door.
I love that analogy. That's such a great picture.
Right? But that is really what you do. Yeah. You allow people to be led by the curiosity. You get them into the door, and now it's their decision. What do they want to see? How do they want to color this blank canvas? How do they want to experience life moving forward?
That is so true and so beautifully said. I love it.
I think for women, when we are desiring love, and I mean, I get it. Like, I have desired love after my divorce for a long time. What I am getting to realization is okay, it's going to happen. There's no question if it's going to happen. It is going to happen. But I'm also okay with letting go with when it's going to happen.
And that is so important.
Right?
Because that, again, it is lack energy. Mm-hmm. It's that, like, I need this to happen now, or I have to ask someone, like, I have to go to a psychic and ask them, when will I meet someone? Like, I never answer these questions because, honestly, if you move up to, like, an energy field, there is no time. There is no time. It doesn't exist. It's just like, it's just down here in the 3D world. If you go up, there is no time. And it's not relevant. It keeps you stuck down here. But when we want to, attract and manifest, what it really means is we're pulling it down we're making it manifest from up there. I always feel like I'm pulling the energy that's up there, I'm pulling it down. But I'm doing this with my intention and with my awareness. And then I know it's gonna show up. But when? That's not up to me. Like, would my husband have showed up earlier? I am 100% sure I would not even have looked at this man. I was not ready. He probably wasn't ready for me either. And so it was the perfect timing. But I could have gone off and been like, oh my God, I've been working on this for 15 years and nothing is happening. And no, that's the moment when I realized I'm letting it go. And that's when I knew that it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the timing doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, there's so much richness what you just said. Because in this 3D world, we are all like, when and where and whom and all of these questions.
And how?
And how? Yes. All of these questions that we are taught from school to society to everywhere. So it's very natural to be entangled in those questions, be like, okay, I know it's coming. I can feel it. I can feel it. But it's not here yet. I've been guilty of it.
We all have been guilty of this, 100%.
And it's remembering again, like, hold on. When universe, God, source is telling you it is here, it's in the cards for you. It's not about questioning that. It's not about thinking like, okay, when is it going to happen? Is this the one? Is this the person that you are making me meet now? Like, is this really happening right now? And it's tiring. I can promise you it's tiring. I went through it. I'm done with it. I'm like, okay, I've been shown over and over again. It's going to happen. It is going to be magical and an amazing experience. So now I leave it up to whenever it needs to happen. As long as I promise myself to be in the energy of I'm enough, I have everything I need that's inside of me right now, and I can create all the magic that I am meant to create in whatever I do.
Yes. Amen to that.
And that is what you did when you decided that this fear bubble was going to burst and it's going to not exist anymore. And then, lo and behold, 4 weeks later, that's when the person came in. That's when the magic started happening. That's when you allowed someone to truly hold you and be vulnerable with, be open with, and allow yourself to become this vessel of connection, which goes deeper and stronger and forceful, that it's like, yes, this is right.
Yes. I don't even have words. I'm just...
What would you say, Julia, to someone who is stuck in those questions?
I would say forget those questions that your mind is, cycling in. Your energy is what runs the show. Just tune out and see, how do I feel? Like, what's my energy when I ask those questions? And if you feel that there's an element of need or desperation or pressure, then like, wow, now it's time to make my energy my number one priority again. Mm-hmm. And you know what makes you happy. You know what is good for you. But we get so focused on what we want to achieve that we actually forget our energy. And when we align our energy, like, just that is changing everything. Because then it's like you're taking away the blocks. The energy flows.
It's a difficult experience, though, for some, where they're like, okay, I'm in this great energy now. It's still not happening.
I know. And I know that when you're in a rut, when you're stuck, it's even like you're addicted to it and you don't want to move out of it. I know this, and I see this with, when I talk with my clients, and I want to give you all one tip that I just love and that I've been doing before my husband came into the picture. Is every time I felt low, I felt doubtful, I went and threw a dance party. I did this every time because this is the easiest thing. Like, I created my love playlist, which I still have, and I just played the love songs, and I felt the love, and I moved my body, and I released all the stuck energy. And after 10 minutes, I felt so differently. And that's so when cool. I started working on, my mindset again and these things. But first I moved the energy. Dancing. And it's so easy. Like, you don't need anyone to do that. I compel everyone listening to go start dancing. Yes. Especially as women. It's such a, it's such a powerful tool to dance. And I've always used it for my manifestation practice, because through moving the body and connecting with the energy and the emotion, it's, for me personally, it's the easiest to feel into the new me.
Yes.
The me that has, and back then, I had all these love songs, and I would just close my eyes and feel how I was already dancing with him. And it was so real. Like, it was the most real experience ever. And afterwards, I knew he's coming. There were no freaking doubts. And I just did it every day. Sometimes 3 times a day.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that tip. That's a golden nugget right there. That's so important. Now, we have a little ritual on this podcast where I get to ask you a question that the previous guests have left. And I'm going to ask you after the recording to leave a question for the next guest. That allows us to be this beautiful synergy all together. So the question I have for you today is, what is one thing that you know, if you start today, will leap you into the next timeline?
Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps now, because this is like what I just talked about, like fully immersing myself, and I'm already doing it, but I'm gonna double down on this, on my dance manifestation practice, because this is really the time when I feel I'm already stepping into that new identity, where I'm already feeling like she's in me, of course.
Of course.
It's not a coincidence that this question now came up, because I feel like, oh my God, this is what we've just been talking about. So yes, so good. So good.
Oh, love it. Love it. Yes. And it's so powerful to recognize that there is no coincidence. There is no like, how does this come up? It will exactly show up for the right person, because those questions are very, very intuitive and very, very ready for the right next guest. And it's absolutely magical what you shared, where having an intention, moving the body, feeling that love or feeling what you're desiring happening in front of you is going to absolutely call that in ways that you can't imagine. Oh, yeah. It was such a pleasure having you.
Yes, for me too. Now I want to go dance.
Well, thank you so much for joining. Everyone who is interested in learning more about Julia, you can look into the description. You'll find all her beautiful information there. And I am so grateful for you showing up and sharing vulnerably what you went through, which is very difficult. But then when you chose to burst through that bubble, burst through the fear, and invite the love bubble, you are sharing so much more love in this world. And I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Matina. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for listening. I hope this episode has helped you to feel less alone in finding tools towards a life which is overflowing with love and purpose. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach more individuals who are seeking healing and personal growth just like you. And don't forget to take a screenshot and share your aha moments on your Instagram stories and tag me, Matina. See you next week. Take care.